All right, here we go. Now, I know everybody went crazy over the debate, and I thought it was some information missing. So I thought, okay, maybe I need to come on and put some information out there because one of the problems is we don't get to see people that's have age because we're too busy trying to be young and beautiful, the young and the restless, the young and the tired. All right. So some of us get the opportunity to get age, and we're not taken out by gunshots, drugs, or we get the opportunity to live a longer life and a quality of life. So I thought that I would put out information on the aging brain versus the neurological brain versus if I only had a brain. Now, I'm going to give you 10 factors that happen to people as they get older. And one of those is we process information slower and we may think and react a little bit slower. And that's called um, just, we just have a slower processing because the noggin is not ticking and talking like it used to. So it's going to slow down. And if you've added drugs to your life or your lifestyle was different, it's going to look different. It's going to slow down much quicker. Then we might have short or long term memory, and these are details, names, or recent events that we may forget. Now, you may, I might forget my keys. I can't find my keys. So, what I do is I add information on to the last place that I was, and then I can come up with my keys. We switch between tasks or we think creatively. So we might get into doing a task and then we forget what we're doing and then we go over there and start doing something else. Um, like I might start with the dishes and then walk into another room and then I forget what I'm doing in that room. I go back and say, oh, well, I need to finish this job. We got a short attention span. It's hard to stay focused. And our concentration might be short. And holding on to information temporarily, we might forget what the task is, and that's our working memory. From working memory to making decisions, um, and that happens a lot. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. I do use notes. Now, one time I may not have had to use notes when younger. One time I could remember the whole yellow pages, but that's out, and now we got AI and all AI kind of basically just taking the brain over. So that kind of shortens the lifespan of the brain too, because we're basically not using our brain or we're not thinking, like we should. Um, when it's hard to learn, it's hard for us as we get older to learn new skills and information. Now, myself, I like learning new skills. I like a lot of information. I feel like my brain needs a lot of information. But as we get older, sometimes we get more settled in our ways and we refuse to adapt, and that kind of hurts us a lot. We get stuck back in the day, and like I said, I didn't like back in the day then, you know because I still feel like we back there and we study getting pushed back because after that Supreme Court ruling on Friday, I thought, oh, here we go again. So after that Chevron decision, I thought, oh, that's pretty tough. Um, we have changes in our sleep pattern. A lot of times we may skip sleep a little bit longer. We might get up more during the night, and you have to be careful about that because that's a kind of sign that that your kidneys. There might be another underlying factor, and your kidneys might not be working properly. And as you get older, it's a lot of things that's not really working at the same level. I don't have the same kidney function that I had when I was 20 years old. I don't have the same brain function that I had when I was 20 years old. But it would be nice, but I don't have it. So uh, a lot of people was kind of scared after the debate, and I thought, well, that information needs to be out there, and I don't mind putting it out because I feel like, hey, I'm a youngster, and these are some of the things that I do. I may forget information, but I know that like I think that the president did an exceptional job for as his demeanor, uh, putting him on stage next to the predecessor, due to the fact that I might have went off. They might have had to drag me off the stage, so it looked different. I'm glad he could hold his own, because I may not have been that tempered, that mild mannered. Another thing we do as we get older, we it's hard for us to plan organizational skills. That's our decision making process, and it declines with our age. And uh, I know the other day I went to visit a facility. At one time, they might have called that facility a geriatric. You don't see that too much because you walk in there and you see more younger people. Uh, Taking up spaces in different homes now because of the excessive amount of drugs and the lifestyle that they have. So that means that I can't sit at the table. I don't have a place, and I'm gonna have to keep it together because there's no room for me there because it's a lot of younger people now uh, in centers and triage centers. That's the brain has been taken out, like I say, due to their lifestyle. We get distracted. Um, and to information that's kind of irrelevant, and we get to thinking um, the way we think. When we get distracted, we may get off task, and that has happened to me. I've seen it happen to a lot of young people. Well, now they call it what, ADHD or uh, ADD, or but that's another disorder. But still, we when we look at people and we say, "Oh my God, they just too old. They can't handle the job." Um, we have to decide what is a good brain, what is a good functioning brain, a good working brain. Um, and I don't think that information needed to be out there, because a lot of times we step out there and we look beautiful, nails done, hair done, all kind of fake body plants or whatever that they were today. And the bottom line is, how's that brain working? Can that brain make decisions? Because, I tell a lot of people that, you know what? Of course, you may not like what happened the other night uh, with Biden's, with the, I see there go my brain because I got so much on my mind that I want to say, but with the debate. But the bottom line is that everybody, we have disagreements, but the bottom line is, my thing have always been about the brain. If you don't like Democrat, if you don't like Republican, hell, vote the brain. If you look over there and somebody just don't have the brain capacity to make the appropriate decisions, and can cause that is an existential threat to the nation, then the bottom line is, I'm like, okay, take away the colors, take away the red, take away the blue, and vote the person that looks like they got some damn common sense. That's what you need to do. So, and number 10, um, as we get older, uh, it also put us in a category of being high risk for certain, what they call neurodegenerative diseases. And those diseases fall in the guidelines of Parkinson and um, dementia, Alzheimer's. But like I said before, I feel, and I strongly feel, now everybody got they people that they want to pick, that's fine. But basically, I strongly feel that, and this is just me, that President Biden has an exceptional working brain. We do have our off days. We do. Uh, and that's just some information that I want to share about the aging brain. So that was on the aging brain. Now we got a neurological brain. So with a neurological brain, um, they may have strengths and weaknesses in certain areas of verbal strength, grammar, and uh, verbal memory. So that might mean that we can walk the walk, talk the talk, but when it comes down to actually doing the task, we can't do it. We look like we could be a good debate artist, but if somebody sent us over there to do the job, then the actual job, the hands-on, we may not be able to do it. The weaknesses might be what they say visual spatial tasks, which is could be like the body language, the facial expressions, things that we can't read, and that's a lot of information that we miss. We miss a lot of the information because I think it's what 30% of what you speak, and the
It
rest
was
is
35%, exactly. 35% of speaking and 65% body language.
okay. And it may be more than that now because now they got these new TikToks and the memory's gotten shorter. And, you know, bottom line is that, you gotta, you own devices and you gotta read all that stuff, but that information is short. Very short. And, uh, and a lot of people don't realize that, you're looking at information, and if the person can't read it, just point it out to them. Just say, you know what, if you didn't get that, or a lot of people say, well, it flew over my head, or they could be very literal. Just say, well, uh, I tell you what, you saw some animals go into the forest, uh, and you thinking, uh, well, I'm not sure what you're trying to tell me, and they can't put everything together. They can't put all the what they see from their eyes. They can't put it all together, and draw up on a conclusion of what that is. You could probably look and it'd be horrible. Like if you're in a baseball game and they giving those different signs, you're not going to be able to read that.
You're not going to be able to read that at all because baseball has a lot of signs like the catchers, like the balls are strike when they call pitchers, like the fastball, the curveball, or the archaic pitch known as the archaic pitch known as the knuckleball as well.
Then we got the social challenges, interactions with social cues, making, um, you know, interpreting social situation, and that's just um, making friends, developing relationships, and a lot of people that's hard to do.
It's really harder. It is actually even worse today to make friends and relationships. And in order to make friends and relationships, first of all, you have to be in the right environment to make friendships and relationships in the first place. And a lot of guys and I'm talking as a male right there, they're worried about whether they're going to have false allegations. That's how serious this is.
We can go to motor skills. The motor skills would be problems with handwriting, coordination. Uh, a lot of people can't what they call dysgraphia. It's without writing. It's hard for them to write or even put their thoughts on paper.
And we don't have to with the technology tools, you don't have to put your write on paper anymore. You don't have to do writing anymore because AI takes care of that for you.
And with all the
So it's really cams on steroids.
cams on.
That's what it is. It's just cams on steroids.
So next we have difficulty with organizing and planning tasks and management, multi-step assignments, um, because a lot of times it's hard for a person to come in and be organized and plan. You're not going to be the wedding planner. You're not the scribe. So, you just have to figure out a way. And that's what.
Or just be an entrepreneur and hire somebody that has those skills that you're not able to do and complement those skills. That's what you do. Outsource.
There you go. Then we have trouble with our thinking. We got uh, abstract concepts, and that might be the person might have trouble with with God. A lot of times, if you're talking to somebody and they're not grasping the Bible theory, I try not to get into conversations with people when they start talking about the Bible because it really kind of angers them up. Then I try to stay away from that. But it's not that the person don't believe in God; they just don't see it, and they got to see it either under the microscope or it got to be kind of explained or pointed out to them. So. Uh,
I don't mess with that.
I know.
I don't mess with the God because it's very very hard to understand like God, so you just have to understand it yourself or the trees or things like that.
Then if it goes over your head, it's very literal. Somebody can say something to you, and you just don't get it at the time. And
Or I could be like Dr. Lie to me, or I can look for something as well, or overread it like I do.
so, looking at this information and what we're doing tonight is that we're looking at it from a different angle. We're looking at it from the angle of if I'm aging, if I'm the aging brain, and then there's the neurological brain.
I'm the neurological brain.
Okay, and then we have, if I only have a brain, that might be the brain that might be angry, you know, um, that might have difficulty communicating with people. And then they call, sometimes that aging brain could be an aging narcissist.
Or agent malignant narcissist in case of the predecessor,
Okay,
or Congress people, malignant narcissists.
different type of crew, and they might be in a sense of false reality. Um, there's a constant lie factor going on. There's fake images, uh, uh, and as they get older, they got more time on their hand, and and it's time to cause a lot of chaos, and they got a lot of delusional thinking. They're very paranoid. You don't think it can get worse? It can get worse, and uh, sometimes you think that they might be schizophrenic, but the paranoid is just that's just they just get so bad that's what happens. Of course, the bigotry, it gets worse because because of everything is they're against, anti, or just got a superiority complex. They can become more abusive. They really demean people really bad. It gets to the point that nobody wants to be around them. You're just sick and tired. You worn out. You just to the point that you can't take it no more. You don't want to be around. If I only had a brain, because they don't. Because whatever happens, they're never gonna change. It's never gonna change.
Oh,
So
it does change. It don't change for the better. Oh, it does change. It changed for the worse.
it changed for the worse, to the point that they mask slip, and they just pathetic. Once that mask fall off, they are, you just so tired at this point you can't take no more.
I mean, they're only pathetic only because if they don't make the laws or harm people, that's when they're the pathetic version. But once you get to Clarence Thomas and the Supreme Court, they're not pathetic.
Well,
It's worse than that.
maybe after they saw that, after they after they saw the debate and saw how it came out, I guess they said, okay, we don't like the way this looks, so what we gonna do is go in on Friday and snatch that Chevron's decision, because now they kind of see how it looks to them. But um, what we came here tonight to say is that as we get older, and I notice a lot of people don't get older. They
And
I don't.
especially now, they don't get older in the United States. They don't, because we have all these shootings. And you have a lot of people that don't want to be old. In the United States, it's like you don't even have the right to be old. You don't have a right to have that blue zone mindset. In countries like Greece and countries in South America, being old is like an honor. And we revere our elders in South America and other places. But in the United States, hurry up and die. We'll cut your pensions. Just hurry up and die. That's what it is.
Well, uh, the bottom line here is that we're pointing out the aging brain, the neurological brain. As they say, I'm not going to say a person is a receipt. I can only tell you what I've lived and what I've known, the fears that I've had for years, and well, we always say that we're from the opposite end of the spectrum, and the flip side of the chart was supposed to be the normal side. Now you find out that,
There ain't nothing normal about the flip side of the chart. Nothing is normal.
well,
It's like the unique ability is like the mainstream.
yeah, because now everything has changed, and the decisions that a lot of people are making, uh, it's nothing. This is just not normal, and the papers want to jump out there and just say, "Oh, Biden should, uh, quit or drop out." I don't think so because there's a lot of young people that's can't make decisions that this man has made uh, for years. They
And
will
he lost
never,
so much.
yeah, they will never be where he is in his mindset. I like I say, I struggle. I think a lot of times that's what's disturbing to me is that sometimes the more I learn, and I guess it would be like the student that's in med school. The more you learn, the more you get a little bit panicky, and you feel like you got all kind of all kind of symptoms. You having heart attack symptoms. Every time you learn something, you're like, oh, that I didn't know that. I didn't know that information. And it's kind of what James Copper said. He said, okay, we want to learn something new here. We know that, the predecessor may have had how many charges? 34 counts. But what is the newest information out here? And so the newest information might be what we might be telling you tonight is that this is about aging. And as we age, our minds will change. And it's not to say that we're not capable of making decisions. Dog, when we went through COVID was screaming every day of our lives that if 65 and older, underlying factors, you're out. But a lot of elders survived, and then you saw a lot of younger people dropping because of their lifestyles and the drugs that they had, and it made everybody that was 65 and older feel like, we don't have the right to be here anymore. We don't have the right to run for office. We don't have the right to be on certain jobs. We don't have the right to be in a position of getting promotions. We can't come in at a later age and be an entrepreneur. But what was really helpful is to see the Kentucky Fried Chicken guy and other entrepreneurs stepping up at an older age, basically, and doing their thing.
There was before social media. This was before social media.
Yeah, but it's just to say that when you think that we're old and we're down for the count, we're out. We're not out. We're not out. Our our brain, my brain process information different now. A neurological brain processes information now different. And definitely, if I had a brain, well,
I can't stand that.
if I had a brain, is not processing the information because he got all the enablers.
That's doing the dirty work for him.
And
That's
that
what it is. It's like the dirty. That's what's the thing. I don't have a brain is not going to do it, but he's going to have the enablers that's going to do it for him. Like one of the enablers, for example, is the Heritage Foundation, Project 25. It's 965 page of intentional behavior. Nightmare. And it's a cookbook for intentional behavior.
and that has already that's already in place. It's been in place for years, but now they're, we
50 years to be exact. They've been working on this for 50 years. 50 years.
and the bottom line is, you know, what we need to do to combat, to get the right person in place, a person that understands the operations of reaching across the nation, developing friends, because we don't work in the United States as just the United States because we have to have allies. And if you can't sit down and make a friend or have allies, or even like when Joe stepped up there and it didn't look good, the debate, and he owned that. Well, a lot of people came forward and say, my debate was bad. It was pointed out that other presidents' debates was bad.
Look at Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania that had one bad debate against Medrick Oz. Remember that one?
And you can't just dismiss a person because, they've had like one debate. And one of the things that I thought was unfair is that, we don't want to look at uh, older people or elders because it's a friendly reminder of hopefully that one day the younger people would be grow to be elder too. And facing that, uh, facing aging is hard. You know, people try to stay as young and as long as they possibly can.
Or keeping up with the Kardashians with their fake, with the fake BMF, with the fake booties.
Okay, so now that you see that you may have one person that may lie, now you're seeing that there's a person that's not gonna lie and it's gonna come out full fledged, and that's something that through the years we've had to work on. But in the meantime, uh, I think I'd rather have a person that can that you have to go back and say, point it out that be careful because if you say something and in this day and age you can offend somebody, it could get you killed.
I mean, it could get you killed, or it could get you sued, or what they call me too, or ruin your career.
But that's what I want to say. I kind of felt that some of the information was missing. A lot of younger people haven't really looked at anybody aging because they don't want to get old, and
They
and
want to
that
die young. They want to
I
die.
don't think they want to die young. I think that the lifestyle takes them out, and seeing somebody like Joe Biden or and the predecessor is
Remind
3 years less than him, and
reminds them of their immortality, because you're not going to just die and come back in 3 days. Once that you die, it is over. Death is death.
but we understand that. But the bottom line here is, I think what was frightening, they had to look up on that stage and face their mortality too. I'd go to the mirror and I've changed, but I've accepted the changes. Even medical changes I've accepted. And that's hard for a lot of people to do. And it's frightening to them. And the first thing every paper in the land want to run around and say, oh, this person is, you know, uh, they should drop out. They should do this.
You
Just
don't have the right to get old. And you don't hear that in blue zone countries like Costa Rica and things like that. If we had more elderly people in the United States, we would be better off as a country in the world if we respect our elders. But we're not going to respect our elders, and it's only going to get worse.
and like I said, the bottom line there is that far as and I don't like to, like I said, I don't like to say back in the day, everything that's happening now is putting us there. It's like we're not moving forward. Every action that's being taken against us is to keep us in the past. And we
The
can't
past never went away. The
get
past just never went away. It was just dormant. It was just waiting for the right person and the right people to bring it right back, to bring it back alive from the dead.
and then when you say that somebody's too old, they're too old.
Look at what happened in North Dakota. They passed a constitutional amendment in North Dakota for term limits where 80-year-olds cannot even run for office. The age limit in North Dakota, it passed in North Dakota.
Okay. So the magnificent thing about the aging brain, and that's why I'm putting this information out there, is because everybody got in a panic. And soon as these missteps happened, I was thinking, what the hell? First of all, Biden is not the criminal. You know,
What he's debating again is a convicted felon, a serial rapist.
Okay. He's not, but everybody wanted to jump ship on him. And once again, it took everything away from him. And that's what happens with the aging narcissist. It caused total chaos. It wasn't like they were focusing on him. It's everything kind of looked at Biden. He's only what 3 years younger, but I don't see that he has pulled off the health that he has. Biden may be more healthier. You know, but the point is, if he didn't look good that night, there's a lot of nights that a lot of us don't look good. A lot of young people can step out there and ain't got the mind that this man got. Don't hold the information that he has.
Or don't want to even develop the mind that they want. They don't even want to read. They don't even know who the Supreme Court justices are. They don't even know their state legislators or how government or how entrepreneurship works.
And that's a brain that I wanted to always see crack. And they had the audacity to say that this brain was an idiot, a
A savant
savant.
as an idiot, that's an insult as well.
You ask any neuropsychologist, any doctor out there, that is a brain, a for real brain.
That the neuropsychologist is afraid to even touch is a savant.
Well, they have splinter skills,
They
which
have a
is,
lot of splinter skills. They have
but
really brilliant skills.
that's kind of where we tonight. That's why we wanted to come out and say what we had to say, because uh, we're gonna take it from another angle, because we're not on your side of the chart.
And we don't want to be on your side. And after what I saw from the other side of the chart, I don't want to be on that side of the chart.
Well, because everybody thought that they was living in a normal neighborhood, and they had to find out that all the people that were around them, all these scholars, all these people that they say that had all this information, they're not making the best decisions.
They're making horrible decisions. They're actually making the decisions. They're making more horrible decisions. And it's intentional too.
But the bottom line is, I wanted to see information out there where younger people could understand the aging brain, because one day I hope that the younger people get to the point of an aging brain, and if they do, to take care of themselves, get rest, the diet, exercise. Those are things that helps help you maintain your aging brain.
And also too, to help your aging brain is be in an environment to help your aging brain as well. In a good environment, whether it's your neighborhood, out of state, or a different country.
I think we're the fortunate ones, because we've got to see both sides of the chart. And for years, I've always said this: uh, it is not what you say. Well, they would say it's not what you say, it's what you do. Now they kind of seeing, and it's really, it has to be both. It's both. It's what you say and what you do. I get that. But it has been more of what the person said than so much than what he does, because what he does, he doesn't do. What happens is, there are other people do things for him by proxy. The people that enables him, is the bottom line, is that they make him who he is. And without them, he wouldn't have that supply to be the person that in his head who he thinks that he is. Because at the end of the day, and you can ask Michael Cohen is, at the end of the day, when you get through doing whatever you do for that person, you're not going to be rewarded, and they're still going to be King Ding, and you're going to be running around there absolutely hurt, vampired out, uh, you know,
More than
drug through the mud,
more than
because,
hurt.
yeah, you're going to be more than hurt.
You're gonna lose your freedom. You're gonna lose your family. And if you're not careful, you may just lose your life.
Well, hopefully not. But like I said, we wanted to put the information out there about the aging brain, a aging intelligent brain. That's what I witnessed. I witnessed an aging intelligent brain.
And then when I saw from the predecessor was a malignant, aging narcissist.
And an aging narcissist, like I said, they get worse as time go on, because they got more time on their hand. They got a lot of time on their hand, and with that time on their hand, woo, it's
They're
total
gonna
chaos.
there's total chaos.
You didn't think it could get worse, but a lot of times people probably would say, well, where's their friends? Well, people are so worn out and drained, emotionally drained, that they're not coming around that person anymore. You know, Biden, he had an after party, and even at his after set, his wife was there. So the question was, where was Melania? And
Melania ain't gonna be there. Melania, here's the answer. Melania left Donald a long time ago.
But
Okay?
but that
That
happened.
but by the brain. All she needs to do is just pack her ass. That's gonna happen.
Well, that happens in relationships.
That happens in relationship. First, it starts with the mind. Because when you're not sleeping together in your own bed, the relationship is dead.
I don't know if they sleeping together or not. We ain't peeping through their windows. No, I don't know about
If you're
all
not
that.
sharing the same bed, if you're not talking as much, the relationship is dead.
Well, And a lot of times, whatever happens in that area is basically that's why, like I said, we want to put the information out there about the aging brain, because I don't think uh,
The-
people see us as old. They see us as we're not functioning well. They think that we should be in a home, that we can't adapt, but a lot of us can. A lot of, like, and I strongly feel that Biden is the person that has the compassion, the empathy, the support that can reach across the aisle. You know, if his friends come out the woodworks to say, "Hey, you're gonna have to own this. We had a bad debate. Come on, we're gonna come over here and help you." If you have a bad debate and nobody shows up to show you what's wrong, you're not doing something right in your life. But there's people that's basically expressing now, and this happens. You pass away, and then you hear you don't hear it, but other people say, he was a good person. He was wonderful. He contributed to the community. He built homes. Um, he was a good father. And you think
you think
that's
you should have said that in his face while he was still alive, not when he waited till you die?
but let me tell you about, if I only had a brain, they'll go out and they'll do things for other people and they'll be the big stuff. And the bottom line is, when they go
The
home,
communal narcissist.
well, not the communal narcissist, but just the regular narcissist. The bottom line is, once they go out and they go back home, they're not the same people. You don't recognize them. That's you when people meet you on the street and say, "Well, I saw John. He really loves you." Well, they
No, they
might be
don't.
out there telling you that.
They might be telling you that, but you don't know what's behind the scenes. And the behind the scenes are really ugly.
Yeah. And so that's why you might not see people out there, the people that you see out there that's backing the other person, if I only had a brain, the problem is that it's something in it for them. It's not anything genuine. It's transactional. They want something out of it. They're not going to get anything. They're
And
not
the
going
only
to.
thing you're going to get is a loss of your family, the loss of your freedom, and the loss of your life, and the loss of career. That's what you're going to get.
Okay. So with the aging brain, I'm one of the aging brain. And
I'm the neurological brain that tells the truth, the hard truth.
that's hard because of him not pushing back. Then he is considered the most rudest and meanest person in the world, but he's not. And I rather have somebody that's going to be front and center, tell me the truth, if I'm going to live or die, than somebody sitting up there, aging, standing in front of a crowd saying, "I didn't do it. I did not."
The
Uh,
Shaggy syndrome. I didn't do it. Yeah, you did.
but this is what this is what I live with. This is what I know, and that's what I'm trying to say to people. You know, you were probably raised by in-laws. I was raised by outlaws.
Well, our family's full of outlaws.
And the bottom line on this is that it was a smackdown. When you were told something, it was not sugar coated. We took it. We had to learn about it. We lived with it, and we moved on. And all the behaviors from the opposite end of the spectrum that we see, it wasn't normal. And now I think you all kind of get it. And so that's the reason why I, years ago, put a blog out there, because I know this was going to come up again. And the blog was basically because it was hard for the neurological person to put their thoughts on paper. So we worked together to put thoughts on paper, music, uh, write, because with a special kind of brain and a unique ability, what you let them express themselves, because that's something that's hard. And uh, putting that information in that blog, is I can look at any story in that blog describes anything today.
Very accurately, too.
uh there's a story that I wrote November 14th, 2015, called Biology. uh there's another story, March 17, 2014. This is over 10 years ago now. Now, working the mojo, underscore working the mojo, go for the remix mojo. And it basically describes who I visually saw who Joe Biden was then to seeing who he is now and the changes that we're looking at. And the bottom line is we all change. We all change. But even if we make a misstep, and if it's for one day, and I know everybody's talking about the democracy, then you got that other half over there talking about super chats, and you got people on money all the time, and you got an existential threat out there, and I feel like I can't be sitting up here worried about that. Hell, the Supreme Court just dropped another bomb, you know, and I'm
3 bombs. They dropped 3 generational bombs. They got rid of affirmative action. They got rid of Roe versus Wade, and they got rid of the Chevron decisions. The 3 big decisions. What do you think is going to be next? I know what's next. The Voting Rights Act of 1965. That's what's coming up
is it
next.
65 or 64?
It was 1965.
Okay.
The Voting Rights Act of 1965 is on the chopping block. It's next, folks.
So, just to wake everybody up, and I know this live is late, but hey, it's alive. If anybody watches it, good, and if they don't, that's still good. But this information is out there, and I put it. I didn't put the neurological brain or the if I only had a brain. I basically put the information in there for the aging brain because that's something that younger people don't get. And the reason why they don't get it is because they don't want to face it. Who the hell wants to be old? Nobody.
I do.
I mean, I mean, no. You want to get to an age, but even doctors are trying to figure out a way to extend the aging process. When you start talking, I'm not gonna go into the telomeres and all of that. I'm not gonna do that. But what I'm saying is, they're trying to find ways to be, like if they're 60, then they're looking like they're 25 or 30. So they're trying to extend their quality of life and be younger and have a younger brain. But that can be done, like they say, through nutrition,
That's going to be
through
done through many.
diet, through sleep, through exercise. These are things that we have to change. And when we don't change them, it wrecks our brains. The smoking, the drinking, all those things wrecks us. And it's hard for us to have that knowledge that we had, the 20-year-old versus the 40-year-old versus the 60-year-old. So all I'm saying tonight is that in that debate, I wasn't disturbed. I thought he did. My mental processing was, I think you're doing real good to keep your hands to yourself, because they would be hauling me off the stage. Because,
Or
see,
me. Especially me.
well, you're not supposed to use it. We cannot, we don't use our hands. That's not gonna, that's not gonna
That's
help.
really hard because it's really hard to debate a person that's a liar that lied over 30 times. Okay, it's really hard. And 30,000 lies when he was president. 30,000.
But we still got to keep our hands to ourselves. That is not the way to solve any problems. That's not the solution. That is not. We have to work through and talk through like we're doing now. So, we've been on this live long enough. I want to make a shout out to, I think it's Bullwalk, Tim Miller's podcast,
Yeah.
to Midas Touch, and to MSNBC, and I know
To Steve Smith.
to Steve Smith, to
To and I
Michael
go. And me.
Mia Copa,
Yeah.
Michael Cohen. I want to send a special shout out to our favorite Republican on the other side,
Michael Steele.
Michael Steele. Yeah, I was just gonna say, I know Michael Steele, and there's a lot of people that have open doors, have been teachers, from Andrew Weissman to there's so many people. Simone, God, Joy Reid. It's just so many people out there. I'm gonna be honest. I can't go up on the Fox News side
I
and
can't
now.
stand Fox News with their love. You
We
mean
can't.
fixed noise, Fox noise, fixed
I've
news?
never learned anything on that side, but I can say this before we get off. I thought of
Makes you more stupid. You're more better off listening to no news than Fox Noise because when you listen to Fox Noise, it makes you more dumber and stupid.
okay. So before we get off of here, I know that after that debate, everybody was running around panicking, and like I said, you are not faced with your mortality because you're younger. And as we get older, we are faced with our mortality if we live.
And
Now,
that's if you're allowed to prosper and allowed to live.
right. And so that, everybody was throwing Joe up under the bus, but that in itself is aging, a aging intelligent brain. They should have compared and contrasted those two. And shout out to my girl KCMO, Clara McCaskill, because she said that famous word, Clara. Shout out to my girl Rachel for the nitty gritty, because I'm listening, I'm paying attention, I hear your voices, I hear a lot of it. And to me, I just want to say to each and every one of you that if you can't vote red, if you don't if you've been voting red all your life, and you don't want to go to the vote Democrat, vote the brain. Vote the brain. Cause if you sitting up thinking you the king of the Wizard of Oz, and if I only had a brain, that's a problem. But I feel like Madam Frankenstein sitting up here. I've always felt like it was a learning process, and I got the opportunity to learn a lot. And my master teacher right here,
Yep.
shout out to my master teacher, and I'm be the sensei, and I'm still learning
Yep.
from the master teacher on the neurological end, on the opposite end of the spectrum. Uh, I've learned a lot, and it's been a magnificent journey for both of us. We will continue on our journey, and if something comes up, and we think that hey, maybe we need to point that out, then we'll be on here pointing it out, because that was something that I felt was left out, because number one, Joe has aged. Joe, um, hey, I'm not the same. Even in 5 years, I'm not the same person.
And you're not supposed to be the same person 5 years from now. You're not supposed to be the same person from day to day. How about that?
Yeah, you're supposed to be making
You're
progress.
supposed to be making progress on brick by brick process every day.
So, on that note, uh, we're gonna get out of here. And I know when everybody was scrambling and saw that debate and was going crazy and wanted to throw people
The
overboard.
Wade Duck syndrome. They're acting like a bunch of Wade Ducks. The legacy media and legacy Democrats acting like the Wade Duck. Oh, the sky is falling. Oh, help me. It's like, yeah. Yeah.
You got the opportunity of living with If I Only Had a Brain. You got the opportunity to live with uh, the aging brain, or the opportunity, which is a sharpshooter, the neurological brain.
Yeah.
And so, on that note, we're going to get out of here. And all I could think about after that debate was over, my favorite person, I could hear her say, I'm going to get a mojita. So, we're out of here. Good night.